This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. We have a Bosch Access washing machine that won't go to the final spin, and it's due to the cold water valve that brings in the cold water during the final spin is no longer functioning. So we're going to be switching that out. And to do this, pretty easy. We don't even have to really remove the dryer. We can just kind of take the lid off of the washing machine with the dryer on it and move it forward a little bit to give us access, because we need to get in just a few inches near the back. This is what the fill valve looks like, and we're going to move the washer and dryer out of the way and then unplug the power source. Just pulling out this 220 plug, and then we're going to be taking off the cold side. First we'll turn off the water. We'll take off the cold side water line coming in. And this was pretty easy on the Bosch because it has a really wide plastic nut. You can usually just undo that with your hand. Get that off. And I'm going to be removing these two Torx 15 screws from the back. And then I can take the lid off of the washing machine. The lid does have the dryer on it right now, so it's a little bit heavy. I'm going to lift it up about 1.5 inches, and then I'll move it forward a little bit at a time. Move the right side forward, then the left side forward. I'm trying to create a few inches of space so I can get the fill valve in. So now we got some room to work, and I just need to take off the little electrical modular connector. So I'm going to push in with my thumb and lift that out of the way. That's what brings power to the cold water valve. That's the one that's on the top. The cold one has actually two solenoids connected to it. I'm going to remove the two rubber lines that are going to the cold water valve, and I'll use my pliers to loosen up the spring clamps. And then once you get the spring clamps off, it still might be hard to get these to move. So sometimes I'll use a standard head screwdriver to just start pushing on the rubber to get it to move out of the way. And then it usually loosens up pretty good. And once we get the two rubber hoses off, then to remove the valve, we just have to pry up a little bit with a standard head screwdriver on the bottom plastic tab. You can see it. It's right here exposed to the front. And once we get that up, we're going to try to push the whole valve down slightly, and then we can make the top of the valve go in toward the washing machine, and then it'll come out at a diagonal. So we lift up on that tab, and then we push the whole valve down first, and then we can push the top in toward the machine. I'm going to put it in kind of opposite. So I put it in from the back, going toward me. I'll put in the bottom tab. I'll bring the whole valve in, and then I'll lift it up so it locks into place. Put the little rubber tubes back on, and then I'm going to make sure I get my miniature hose clamps back on the rubber tubes to hold them. And I'll put my little electrical connector back in, just push it in to where it locks. And then it's just a matter of reassembling it. So it's kind of an interesting way to do it, because sometimes it's hard to take these dryers off, and you don't really have to take the dryer off. You can just actually lift the washer's lid out of the way slightly to give you the room to do this. Some procedures you have to take it off because you have to get deeper into the machine. And then once we get that done, we'll go ahead and put the water hose back on. And then it's a matter of getting the washer lid back into place. And to do that, you have to lift up. So it's a little bit heavy. You gotta lift up on the washer lid and the dryer together to get it to lift over the frame. So there's two plastic pieces that have to lift over the frame. You gotta lift by about 1.5 inches. Get it all lined up, and then you can add the two screws back in. So you could actually do this procedure really quick, probably within 10 minutes you can be done. Plug it back in. And then when we tested it, it actually worked great. It did the final spin, and previously it just wasn't doing it because the computer would stop the program because it wasn't getting enough water in the right amount of time. It was just due to that cold water valve wearing out prematurely. The cold water valve will wear out faster than the hot water valve because cold water is used every time the machine does a rinse. Wouldn't be a bad idea to do the cold water valve and the hot water valve at the same time. So you can do a little diagnostics to test this. You press the start button for 3 seconds while you turn this to permanent press cold. Keep holding, and then the lights will start to flash. And then you can test these different water valves. First one, I think you turn the dial to warm, and you press start, and that'll activate that valve. Actually, it might be one more click. Let's try that. There we go. We can look in there and see the water shooting. Then we turn that off. We go to the next one, press start again. That activates a new valve. You can see the water flowing, looks good. That's the one that's testing the cold. Turn that off, go to the next one. And this allows you just to see those. So they're all firing up now on the diagnostic test, and that did the trick. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. Thanks for watching.